Yeah, very good afternoon to all of you. And so, so here, cryptography. So we have seen the previous session. We have seen transport layer SSL. Of course, TLS also the same. No difference in between SSL and TLS. It is more secure, and this is less secure. That is the only difference. And unit number 6, we are talking something about the second level of network security, that is IP security. We are talking something about today. We'd like to talk something about IP security, and this class will be IP security will be spans for 3 hours. It will be completed for 3 successive hours. So today, tomorrow, and after tomorrow, IP security will be gets completed. Then we'll go for system security. Okay, we are supposed to be enter into 6th unit today, and we'll have a look about this one here today. IPSec in the sense IP security, and IP security was originally developed by Internet Engineering Task Force in 1992. So it was developed by this group of people actually. So actually, what exactly it could be done here in the sense at network layer, so packet will be secured by this IP security. That is the basic or major concept of this particular IP security here. Okay. And this could be available in between transport layer and network layer. In between these two, this IP security will be implemented, and it is available over there. And in TCP/IP, normally IP security will be available at the IP layer, and in OSI reference model, it has been available in between transport layer and network layer here. So, however, so this could be taken into consideration. So as so IP layer in both the ways in TCP/IP or what do you call OSI. So in both it could be considered as IP layer only. So in OSI reference model, it is part and parcel of network layer, whereas in TCP/IP suite, it is a separate layer which is available with. So therefore, so it could be implemented in between the transport layer and the network layer. And however, IPSec or IP security will be provides 3 different types of actual security measures. One is authentication, and second one is confidentiality, and third one is integrity. So these are the 3 different types of so security measures or security services which could be provided by IP security. We will see one by one. We will see each and everything before going to details of this IP security. We will know what exactly the IP security will be. Okay, then IP security will be useful in 3 different types of dimensions. First one is it can be enhance the security. Those which are not using so actual security measures, they are using their own security protocols. Electronic mail or email is using its own security measures only, its own security protocols only. Where exactly it has been provided security for the client server programs which are being run. So in network layer area. Okay, that is the first useful first uses of this particular IP security. And second one is security will be done or security will be provided for client server programs. Their the server the security will be provided for at a network layer, which is being transported some kind of data from network layer to transport layer. So thereby the security will be provided for that particular data. So it's also be done by IP security. And next one is the data which is being taken care by transport layer. There also, so the security will be provided by that particular thing. More and more probable or more and more very important so security measure will be node to node communication. That is router to router communication. Router to router communication. Thereby, so this IP security is more prominently used by the network layer in all networking kind of issues here. Okay, so in actually in routing algorithms, it has been provided. Okay, then followed by the IP security will be operated in two different models. One is connection oriented, and second one is connectionless. In turn, they will be called as a transport mode, and second one is a tunnel mode. Normally, transport mode will be in connection oriented, which is called as a TCP, and tunnel mode in the sense it is a connectionless mode, which is called as UDP. Of course, that's also be connection, but the UDP is pure connectionless service, whereas TCP is pure connection oriented. Even then, connection oriented. So in routers, if you consider some kind of routers, at routers, the data will not be so propagated through a specific connection. So that is why that could be, I have termed it as the connectionless service out there. So this transport mode will be connection oriented, and the tunnel mode will be connectionless service. So thereby we have to, so I mean this IP security will be gets operated here. What exactly it could be done? What is the basic point which we have to consider or which you have to remember while security will be gets operated here is, so in the transport mode, IP security protects the data while the data is being delivered to transport layer to the network layer. So from transport layer to network layer, where exactly it could be done here in the sense at a receiver end. Normally, if you consider the ISO reference model, so normally transport layer is higher layer of network layer actually. But here, from transport layer to network layer in the sense, it could be done at, sorry, it is not receiver, it is sender end. Sender end. From application layer, the data will be received and that could be transmitted to so presentation layer and so on session layer, and then transport layer, and then network layer, and at network layer packets will be gets prepared. They will be so sent to data link layer and then physical layer, and then it could be transmitted over so physical media such as so twisted pair or some other kind of media which is available in the market. Okay, so thereby so this transport mode will be gets operated here. Okay, and normally every network layer, so in network layer, so every the data which is being received from the transport layer, that data will be so make up as so the packet at network layer. That making of packet will be called as a payload of that particular network layer here. So that payload will be protected by the IP security in transport mode. Okay, that is the basic point which we have to consider here. Okay, so normally this payload will be encapsulated with a network layer here. How this could be? Let us see. So transport layer payload. This transport layer payload will be appended with so IP header and IP trailer. At IP layer, it could be done IP header and IP trailer. So with these two, this transport layer payload will be so appended. After this one, so this could be done if IP header is being added. So this is IP security header and IP security trailer here. This is IP header will be so appended here, and then this whole thing will be called as so transport mode security. So transport mode security header and trailer will be encapsulated with the IP header here. So now this will be sent to the network layer where exactly the network layer packet will be gets prepared. So this kind of a procedure is called as transport mode. And how this transport mode will be done here in the sense. So let me explain with next slide. So IPSec transport mode does not protect IP header. IP header in the sense. So this particular IP header cannot be protected by the transport mode, whereas this IP header will be protected by tunnel mode. So at tunnel mode, it has been protected. So this is only protected the data which is being coming from so transport layer only. Transport layer in the sense, look at this. So this whole thing will be bundled together, and the security will be gets operated for only transport layer payload, but not so network layer payload here. Network layer payload in the sense combination of IP security header and IP security trailer with the transport layer protocol payload. So this entire thing will be protected by header and trailer here. So this will not be protected by the IP header here. IP header in the sense IP version, Internet Protocol version, Internet Protocol different slices are there. All those slices are not supposed to be protected by this IP security here. And this could be always used. Transport mode could always use it to run at host to host. Both ends must be so compulsory systems or computers. So then only this transport mode will be evaluated or provide security to the data. So that is why I told it is so connection oriented service, and it is a connection. So the tunnel mode is a connection less service. That is why I have to quote it before going to take this one here. Now, how this could be done? So look at this particular diagram. So at the host A, the transport layer and its so transport layer will be added here with the two IPs. I mean IP security header and IP security trailer. Both of them will be taken into consideration, and they will be appended with the IP header, and it will be transmitted. This entire packet will be, this whole packet will be transmitted. So from host A to host B, and obviously it could be, I mean, at the host B, everything will be detached, and it is also so this at this particular receiver send, it will be avoid the intruder to to not open this particular data which is available at a transport layer payload here. So that is the way which is being done here. And then tunnel mode, at this particular tunnel mode, what exactly could be taken here in the sense, entire packet will be protected at tunnel mode, because tunnel mode in the sense some connection-less service will be involved into this one, so that entire packet must be protected. Then only the data will be transmitted from the source to, sender to receiver. So that is why entire packet will be secure. So security will be provided here. And here IP header also. One IP header will be added to the transport layer payload, and again new IP header also be so done here. What exactly it does means in the sense, in transport mode, the data will be transmitted. The packet will be prepared right away from transport layer, IP security followed by network layer. Whereas in tunnel mode, it will be received from the transport layer to the network layer. At network layer, so everything will be protected, and then again it will be sent to network layer for doing providing some IP header over there. Let me show you by taking one particular example, that it could be very easy to understand. So look at this. IP payload will be so added with this IP header, and then followed by it will be submitted to IP security, and this IP security will be, previously in transport mode, it is not supposed to be secured, but right now it has been secured with IP security header and IP security trailer. And again, this particular data will be sent to network layer back. Okay. So second time IP header is being added, because this IP header, whatever the IP header we have been taken here, that has been secured, and it is not supposed to be opened by the network layer back, because it has been secured by the IP security layer. So therefore, it must be added one more time so that network layer can understand that who is the source and who is the destination. Everything will be understand by the IP header. It is added one more time. So that is why it could be available in between network layer and again network layer only. Okay, so it could be normally used between either router to router, otherwise router to host, otherwise host to router. However, whatever the reason it may be, so sender and receiver may not be host or may not be router here. Okay, sender and receiver may not be host or may not be receiver here. So how could you consider here in the sense? So probably end-to-end protection will be given. End-to-end protection will be given in between two routers or in between host and router, or in between router and host. So any one of these. So therefore, it could not be considered that both must not be the host. Okay. So that is what the point which we have to consider here. And so in tunnel mode, so intrusion detection is very easy when compared to the transport mode here. Okay. Let us observe how this thing could be happened here. So network layer, first of all, network layer can be receive data from transport layer, and that could be added this IP here. So this IP also protected by the tunnel mode here. So that is the basic difference between transport mode and the network mode here. Okay, and where exactly these two will be existed? Where exactly these two will be existed here? You could see. This is the way you need to understand. So in transport mode, in between the transport layer and so the network layer, IP security will be gets available. Whereas in the tunnel mode, so at the network mode and the network layer and the new network layer. So don't confuse here. This network layer could be added. So it's IP to the network layer payload, and that network layer payload will be again so protected, something like this. This is IP header, and this IP header will be so appended with network layer payload, uh, network layer payload, and this whole thing will be secured by by adding header and trailer of IP security, so that the IP header also be secured at the tunnel mode, whereas it is not supposed to be secured here. So that is why. So one more time, you have to add IP header here. Without having IP header, you could not identify so what kind of operations you have done on that particular packet. So that it must be taken one more time the IP header. So that is the basic reason why it has been existed in between network layer and network layer in tunnel mode here. So that is the only point you need to understand. Okay. So these are the introductory part of this IP security. And tomorrow we will enter into what exactly IP security, what kind of protocols which could be implemented using IP security, and how the protocols will be. Everything will be so discussed with you by tomorrow. Very few people. So